How dragons came to be. No hajimari, hajimari. Oh, mukashi, a long, long time ago, when the earth was just young, the emperor of the heavens looked down, and he was worried. The rain god was making as much rain as he could, but even so, the earth was drying up. Soon the animals and the people would be suffering. He had to do something. Then he had an idea. He called all the creatures of the oceans and the waters together, and he said to them, I will send out 3 heavenly waves. And if any one of you can ride those waves up to my palace in the heavens, that creature will I make the first dragon. Well, the animals were all excited, as you can imagine. A dragon, what is a dragon? They all wanted to know. A dragon, said the emperor, is the most powerful creature of them all. When the rain god calls on the dragon, she will fly up to the heavens from out of the ocean and scatter life-giving rain over the earth. Well, of course, all the creatures of the oceans wanted to be the first dragon. And almost all of them tried and failed. There were only a few creatures left. One of them was the porgy. Now the porgy was a very excitable fish. And so when the first wave came coming, he got more and more nervous. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Oh, he went right through the first wave instead of riding it up to the heavens, and he landed in the trough below. Suddenly the second wave picked him up in the air. My head is spinning, and threw him into the clouds. He landed back down on the crest of the third wave and crashed down to the ocean floor. Well, the porgy had failed, but the emperor of the heavens was so proud of him for trying that he placed his fingers on both sides of the porgy's flank. And that is why today, when you see a silver porgy, you'll notice they have spots on either side of them. When the tiny shrimp saw that the porgy had been so honored, she wanted to try. She was very light on her feet, and she was sure she could do it. I'm going to be the first dragon. I'm going to be the first dragon. She got so excited she started to dance, and so when the second wave came, oh no, she slipped off the top of it into the ocean floor, and zaboom, down crashed the wave on top of her. Poor shrimp. That is why when you go to supermarkets today, you'll notice that the shrimp's back is broken. Now, all the creatures of the ocean had tried, but none of the river fish or freshwater fish had. They weren't used to the big ocean waves. But the emperor of the heavens got angry and tired of waiting. Goro, 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 pika, pika, he sent down thunder and lightning, and finally, shivering with fear, the carp swam forward. She knew she was the most powerful of the river fish. When the first wave came, she clung to it as tight as she could, but barely managed to hold on as it rose up to the heavens. When the second wave came, she pushed herself into the wave, but this time it was so tight around her. Oh, my ribs are breaking. With the third wave, she knew what to do. She pushed herself up on top of the wave, climbing higher and higher and higher into the heavens until, in the distance, look what she saw. The palace of the emperor himself. Well, you would think at this point she would be excited. She was almost at her destination. But when she thought about how high she was above the ocean, if she were to drop from here, she would die for sure. She closed her eyes tight as she could. But instead of falling, she landed on a smooth, hard surface. And when she opened her eyes, she saw that it was the floor of the palace, and above her, the emperor of the heavens himself was standing and waving his hand. And suddenly, from out of her own tail sprang a much longer tail. Out of her sides came strong, powerful arms and claws, and her nose grew longer and sharp fangs grew out of her mouth. Just as the emperor had promised, she had become the world's first dragon. If you look at Asian dragons today, you'll notice that they were once carp. They have the big carp-like eyes. They often have carp-like whiskers. And they have the rainbow-like scales all along their flanks. And that is why the carp is revered throughout Asia as a strong and powerful fish that became the first dragon so that we have enough rain on earth. Oh, see my, the end. This is a story I often use for programs I do on Children's Day. Carp windsocks can be seen flying above the rooftops of many houses in Japan for Children's Day in May, because parents want their children to grow up strong and resilient like the carp.